Good morning, JRW. Hope everyone is well. Um, I'm hoping my voice will last as we get through this video. So I'm just going to jump to it. Um, Last week, we talked about self-worth. We talked about the importance of believing in yourself and, more importantly, believing in how valuable you are. We are all valuable. We are all worthy of love, good friendships, positive things in our life. Everyone carries value that is high and it is good. Um, but there are things that do get in the way of us having good self worth and having good self confidence. So, some of those things that kind of get in the way of how we view ourselves or how we feel about ourselves are just life experiences that we have, difficult life experiences or losses, um, the people that we have in our life. What kind of people do we have in our life, and what are they saying to us, and what are the messages that they convey with words or with actions that communicate our worth, our value, and how we should feel about ourselves. Our own inner thoughts make a big difference on how we feel about ourselves and how we view ourselves, and the emotions that we have going on. Our emotions change all throughout the day. And so we cannot base how we feel about ourselves based off of our emotions. But honestly, we do that sometimes. So today's video, I want to focus on one big emotion that I think is a big pitfall for a lot of people, and especially for teenagers. I just think that, life now is so challenging for you guys at times. There's so much stress and pressure, um, school wise, at home, maybe, and among your peers. You should go on my Google Classroom and read the lesson for about handling peer pressure. That would be helpful. But so, one big emotion that I think hinders our self confidence and our feeling of positive self worth is shame. What is shame? I think a lot of people get shame and guilt confused. So, I'm going to just clarify the difference between those. Guilt is when we feel bad for something that we've done. But with guilt, there is a solution for it. We can apologize. We can change our choice the next time. So, although there's a temporary feeling of feeling kind of crummy and kind of bad about something, and feeling that guilt passes. Guilt eventually goes away, because we can fix it. Shame is different. Shame makes us feel like there is no solution. Shame is when we view ourselves as the problem. It's not a situation as the problem or the choice that was made is a problem. It's me. I am a problem. I am bad. I am a burden. I am a failure. I'm unlovable. I'm a mistake. Those are really powerful kind of beliefs and statements that people inwardly might feel about themselves or think about themselves or say to themselves. And with shame, there often, well, always is a sense of hopelessness. Like there doesn't seem like a way that we can fix that. If I'm the problem or if I'm bad, how can we fix that? And so shame leads to feeling embarrassed and feeling like we have to hide ourselves, hide who we are. And we do that through a variety of ways. We kind of disconnect, or we don't try and get close to people and have a lot of relationships or friendships, or we don't talk and share about ourselves very often because we don't feel worthy or important enough or good enough to do that. So we hide pieces of ourselves out of fear that if people knew something about us, that they would view us in a very bad way. And so this is shame. And so you can understand how shame can negatively impact our self-worth and our self-confidence. So, um, shame isolates us, which is a big part of it. If we are embarrassed or ashamed about something, we keep it quiet. We don't talk about it, we hide it. And the things that we hide, the things that we don't talk about, are the things that can really hurt us. And so, what are some ways that we can break away from shame and that mentality of shame and those beliefs about shame? Is one, we have to recognize what are situations that we encounter or people that we might encounter that bring that feeling of shame or not feeling good enough up. And sometimes for some people, it's certain family members, or it's certain exes, or sometimes for some people, it's school, and it's academic things. So we need to know the things that trigger certain emotions and certain feelings in us. The second thing is we need to notice what that feeling tries to encourage us to do, such as hide, not tell someone how we're feeling, um, to try and disconnect, or um, put walls up so that people can't know us or we don't have any close relationships. um, to talk negatively about ourselves, to kind of beat ourselves up mentally and emotionally. The third thing that we need to do is to talk to someone. The biggest, most important way to break um, that sense of shame or disappointment in ourselves is to talk to someone about how we're feeling. There are so many people at different points and times in their life where they feel that way. They have those kind of difficult, hard feelings and thoughts about themselves. Lots of people can relate to this. So find somebody that you trust, ideally a trusted adult, to talk through some of those things, kind of pick their brain. How did they get past some of that stuff at different points in their life? But talking it out and talking to someone breaks the power of shame and actually lets a little hope in. And the last couple of things that are important to breaking shame is practicing every day, or at least a couple of times a week, practicing identifying your strengths. Pay attention and don't be embarrassed to inwardly highlight and recognize and remind yourself of what your strengths are. That's super important. And the very last thing to breaking shame is to practice every day talking kindly to yourself, saying positive things to yourself. And we're going to get into that a lot more next week. But practice, practice, practice is the biggest thing that you can do. You may not always believe those positive things that you say to yourself, but it is a starting point. Eventually, you will start to believe those things, but it takes a lot of practice. If you think of how many times we've said this before, how many times throughout the day might you say something unhelpful to yourself? Probably a lot. And how many times are you saying helpful things to yourself? Probably not as much on certain days. So we have to practice the things that we want and the things that we want to believe out about ourselves. We need to practice by saying them and surrounding ourselves with people who are going to help reinforce those positive things. So I want you guys to talk as a class. What stands out to you about what we talked about today? What do you relate to? And what's advice that you would give to a peer that might be feeling a bit of shame, like feeling not good enough or feeling like they're really messed up or something? What is helpful, life-giving advice that you would give to a peer? So have a little discussion, and I hope you guys have a great week. If this is something that you want to talk about further, come talk to me. I'd be more than happy to talk this out with you. Have a great day, guys. Bye.